maybe. So what did we studied in chapter 4? It is always good to take some summary. So what we found out is first how to find RTD of real or let's say non-ideal reactor. Clear, no? So how do you find? You have pulse experiments. You have pulse experiments and let's say step experiments. Step experiment. So second thing is what is RTD of ideal reactors? What is RTD of ideal reactors? Clear? So third step what is so what you have done is for a given RTD of non-ideal reactor or let's say real reactor, so we need to find combination of ideal reactors basically which gives the same RTD. This is what we have done now. For a given RTD of non-ideal reactor, for a given idea of non-ideal reactor, we need to find combination of ideal reactors which gives the same RTD. This is what we have done yesterday. This is what is chapter 4 summary. So is everybody agrees till this point? Everybody understood, let's say, how to find RTD of real reactor, pulse experiments, step experiments. Then we have studied RTD of ideal reactors. Then this is the part that we have done. Then what is next one is let's say concept called as single parameter model. Single parameter models. So what are the So somebody is asking one question. If RTD of real reactor is same as ideal one, then real world becomes ideal reactor. Yes. So single parameter models. So what is single parameter models? Is you have two models. One is tanks in series model. Another one is, let's say, dispersion model. One is tanks in series model. Another one is dispersion model. So what is this single parameter models are? What is this? What are these? These are to find model of a non-ideal reactor. So these are the ways, or these are to find the model of a non-ideal reactor. Suppose if you given a chance, suppose if you have a real reactor, let's say in your hand, you need to generate a model. Do you want your model to be very complex or do you want your model to be simple? What is it that you like? Do you want your models to be simple and accurate or let's say complex and accurate? So like everybody needs a simple model, no? So everybody requires a simple model. So what did we do till now is, so I have a real reactor. So its RTD is something like this. Now I have this RTD of volume V, let's say is equal to, then I found that two CSTRs in series followed by a PFR or let's say followed by another CSTR in parallel will represent the same RTD. Don't ask me how this RTD has come, just an arbitrary. Basically what we are doing is, you are expressing a non-ideal reactor non-ideal reactor as a combination of ideal reactor. Let's assume that this combination and this combination has the same RTD. Clear? Now, having, let's say, PFR in the here. So now look at the performance equations of CSTR and PFR. Which one looks simple, CSTR or let's say PFR? Which one looks simpler, CSTR or PFR? CSTR, no. So obviously CSTR looks. So a thought came. So then a thought came, which is, can I model a real reactor as a function of only CSTRs? Is it possible? Because having my CSTRs in my model makes my life easy because the equations are simple. It is algebraic equations. Otherwise, if it is PFR, I need to solve the integral. See, integrals means I am giving a first order equation, so you are solving the integrals. Let's say very easy. Let's say if I given integral of, let's say, CA power, or let's say rate equation is CA power 1.8 and CB power, let's say 1.2. Then the integrals will become complicated, no? So then you will need to plot the graphs, sinusoidal rules, all this. So basically, so what I'm trying to say is PFR equations are slightly mathematically complicated than CSTR. So that is why then the thought came, can I model a real reactor as a function of only CSTRs? So that is where out of this thought, the concept came, which is called as tanks in series model. The thought came out of this one is a tanks in series model. What is tanks in series is, what is the objective is, here is, what does this model tells is, any non-ideal reactor, you take any non-ideal reactor can be represented as NCSTRs in series. NCSTRs in series. Any non-ideal reactor can be represented as NCSTRs in series. So don't get confused even if you don't understand this statement. Just wait. So what is tanks in series model? Everybody understood? What is tanks in series model is, I want to represent a real reactor as a function of only CSTRs. My objective is to eliminate PFRs. I don't want to have PFRs in my model. The reason why I don't want to have PFRs in my model, because my life becomes difficult in solving the PFR equations. Is everybody? Don't look at this statement. This statement I'll explain you later on. This statement, don't look at this statement. Even if you don't understand this statement, you will understood in the next couple of discussions. Have you understood what is tanks in series model? Yes. Then what is the RTD of a single CSTR? V. How does the RTD of a single CSTR looks? This is where it starts, 1 by tau and this one. Suppose if I split the CSTR into V by 2 plus V by 2, then what will happen to the RTD? How does the RTD looks like? How does the RTD looks? So now what happened to your RTD is, now it is two CSTRs in series, do you have back mixing reduced or let's say same? The RTD becomes something like this. It has a two CSTRs in series. Now, if I let's say split into three CSTRs in series, P by 3, P by 3, P by 3, then what happens to the RTD? Like this. So if I split into, let's say this is n equal to 3, this is n equal to 2, n equal to 1. Suppose if I split into, let's say 10 CSTRs or let's say 20 CSTRs, V by 20, V by 20 and so on, V by 20, V by 20. So what happens to, how does the RTD looks like? This is n equal to 3. So when you n equal to 20, this is how the RTD looks like. Clear? Or maybe I'll plot little. Maybe just give me 1 minute. This is n equal to 20. So if you try to see what happens to the curve, what is happening to the curve? What is happening? The entire mass is going to, let's say, shrink or expand. When you let's take dispersion. Dispersion, if you take, does the dispersion is going to decrease? Like the dispersion of the pulse. Like suppose if I inject a pulse of red molecules, then in CSTR, this is how it will disperse when they are coming out. As the number of CSTRs increases, the area where let's say mass is located is decreasing or not. Suppose if you go to let's say n equal to 100, then what happens is you will see that clearly the peak is coming out, something like this. Suppose if n equal to infinity, suppose if you split the CSTR into infinity CSTR, then it becomes a PFR. So that means basically, as you split the CSTR, you are moving towards a PFR. Somebody is asking yesterday, how does RTD of CSTRs in series looks like? This is what is. Just digest this concept. So we are considering back mixing of CSTR also, no? But if you keep on splitting the CSTR, the back mixing decreases. Two CSTRs in series is nothing but two CSTRs splitted, no? That is also same. This is how the graphs looks like. Suppose, tell me this concept. Suppose if I have, let's say, two RTDs. This is RTD 1. Something like this. This is RTD 2. Which one is close to PFR? Which one behaves like a PFR? I are close to PFR. Which one is close to PFR? Second one, no. So that is what I am saying. This is what is called as dispersion. This is called as dispersion of the pulse. This is how it is dispersed here. This is, let's say, some, so this is close to, second one is close to PFR. Clear? That is what is happening when we split a CSTR. So is everybody understood till now? See, when two CST are splitted, the back mixing decreases, right? That means the dispersion decreases, right? How do you show that this decrease in the dispersion? So that the dispersion decreases. Like when you have a single CSTR, this is the extent of dispersion. When you have two CSTR, the dispersion slightly decreases. That means only this much dispersion. So this is n equal to 1. This is n equal to 2. So this is n equal to, let's say, maybe 20. So the dispersion is still decreasing. That is what is I have used while plotting the graphs. If the infinity CSTRs in series is there, then dispersion is 0, which is what is ideal PFR. Now let's take two real reactors. This is this real reactor. This is this real reactor. So the two are two different real reactors. This is, let's say, real reactor 1. This is, let's say, real reactor 2. Now RTD of this real reactor is something like this. RTD of this real reactor is something like this. You can say real reactor 2 is more close to PFR. Now, if you take these two real reactors, what we can say is these two real reactors, what are the extreme conditions? So if you see, let's say, suppose if you take a scale of, let's say, reactors. If you take scale of real reactors, what is the extreme behavior of a reactor is CSTR. What is the extreme behavior of a reactor is PFR. So what we say is all reactors, or let's say all real reactors should fall in between CSTR and PFR. So scale of reactors, all reactors should fall in between CSTR and PFR. Now what is PFR? I am eliminating PFR. What I am writing is PFR, I am writing it as, let's say, infinity CSTRs in series. So if you take a scale of reactors, what is the scale indicates is 1 to infinity. So single CSTRs to infinity CSTRs in series. Now, if I take this real reactor 1, this real reactor 1 will be more close to CSTR. So let's say it will be fitting somewhere here on the scale. This is real reactor 1. Where does real reactor 2 fits? This is real reactor 2. So what you can write from this statement is any real reactor can be fitted as NCSTRs in series. Only thing is that N varies. Maybe this real reactor will be expressed as, let's say, 5 CSTRs in series because their back mixing is high. Whereas this real reactor 2 is expressed as, let's say, 200 CSTRs in series because their back mixing is extremely less. But if you take a third non-ideal reactor, now let's take a third non-ideal reactor. Let's say this is a third non-ideal reactor, something like this. which is in between, let's say, real reactor. Then this may be coming here. So this is real reactor 3. So which is expressing it as, let's say, 7 CSTRs in series. Clear? So what I can make a statement is any non-ideal reactor can be modeled as n CSTRs in series, but that n will vary. What is that n is? N depends upon the real reactor. Suppose if I take real reactor 1, it can be modeled as 5 CST. How do you say this 5 CSTRs in series? Because this real reactor RTD and let's say this 5 CSTR RTD exactly looks same. This is n equal to 5. So this real reactor RTD and this 100 CS, 200 CSTRs in RTD will exactly looks same. So that is how you are fixing the NCSTRs in series. So basically what I'm trying to say from this discussion is any real reactor can be expressed as simple NCSTRs in series. You do not need a PFR to model a real reactor. Take time, take 2 minutes, understand, settle down, understand. I'm going to be on mute for let's say 1 or 2 minutes so that you will understand yourself. sorry. So what I'm trying to explain is, I'm trying to, let's say, explain again. So let's take two real reactors. Let's take two real reactors. This real reactor has this RTD, this real reactor has this RTD. Now I need to model this as NCSTRs in series. So now if you understand, any real reactor in this world should fall in between CSTR and PFR only. Because there is nothing exists beyond PFR, nothing exists, let's say, beyond CSTR. These are two extreme ends of behavior of the planes. If two planes are completely mixing is CSTR, if two planes are not at all mixing is the CSTR. Clear? So now, if I put, let's say, this real reactor, this should be close to CSTR, whereas this can be represented as N5 CSTRs in series. So how does I know 5 is? I'll just keep on plotting, let's say, N equal to 5 arbitrarily, then I'll get this kind of RTD. So if I put N equal to 200, I'm getting this RTD. So basically, so any real reactor can be fitted as NCSTRs in series, but this N may not be common. This N depends upon this real reactor. Clear? Suppose what is the model? Suppose if I have, let's say, NCSTRs in series. Let's say NCSTRs in series. What is NCSTRs in series equation? Let's assume that you are doing a first order equation. Then what is the model? CA by CA naught. CA by CA naught is equal to 1 by 1 plus K tau whole power N. So if I go back here and if you see this real reactor 1, what is the model? 1 by 1 plus K tau whole power 5. This real reactor 2. So what is the model? 1 by 1 plus K tau real reactor 200. So what is real reactor 3? Model 1 by 1 plus K tau whole power 7. Of course, but this is for first order reaction, just I am explaining. But see how the equations are simple for NCSTRs in series. So what is here is this is a single model. This is a single model with single parameter. This is the only single parameter, no? This is single parameter. If I change N equal to 5, then this model is applicable to here. If I change N equal to 200, this model is applicable to this reactor. If I change N equal to 7, this is it. This is what is the concept of single parameter models. This is the concept of single parameter models. So this is how equations will become extremely simple when you have CSTRs in your models. Okay, so if I change to second order, then this equation will change. Since we have derived this equation, so I am using that concept. Now, suppose let's take this is a real reactor. This is my real reactor. Let's say RTD is something like this. How to know that? Let's say how to estimate number of CSTR which represents this model. How to estimate n number of CSTRs which represents this model. How do you calculate? Generally, we'll do it, let's say, trial and error method. Trial and error. You have n CSTRs in series equation. I'm not going to write this equation in this class because that is not required gate point of view. So you have an E curve for n CSTRs in series. If you change E, then you will get multiple values. So trial and error method. So trial and error is, let's say I put this is n equal to 2, which doesn't represent. Let's say this is n equal to 3, which doesn't represent. Let's take n equal to 4. N equal to 4, if I put this is represent. So which says n equal to 4, which is actually representing the model. Now, next question is, can I calculate or can you calculate can we calculate the number of CSTRs directly? Can we calculate the number of CSTR directly? There is a small procedure. We will follow this. Let's take this real reactor. So what is first step is find RTD. How do you find RTD? You go to pulse experiment and then plot this RTD, which is E versus T curve. You know how to plot E versus T. The next thing is find T bar. How do you find T bar? How do you find T bar is, you have the equation that is 0 to infinity et dt. Third thing is plot this curve, that is E versus T by T bar. This is what is called as theta, T by T bar. You just divide this coordinate with T bar. Then they will get E theta versus theta curve. The shape of the curve will remain same. Fourth step is find variance of E theta versus theta. How do you find variance? Or let's say standard deviation. So you have the Excel tools. If you plot this, let's say put this graph in the Excel, it tells you, let's say, what is the sigma square. Sigma square will tell you dispersion of the population. This is, let's say, sigma theta square. Then what is your number of tanks is 1 by sigma theta square. This is what is your number of tanks. This is directly finding out number of tanks which are representing the model. So what are we doing is, can we calculate the number of CSTR directly is something that I'm trying to answer. What do you do is first find the RTD, which is E versus T. Then find T bar. Then plot E versus theta. Find variance. Variance you don't need to find. What is the equation for variance? X minus X bar whole square divided by N minus 1 sigma. This is your X variance, no? So you don't need to calculate. If you just put this graph into, let's say, Excel tool, it tells you what is the variance. So what is the variance? So that once you get that variance, you will get number of times, which is nothing but N equal to 1 by sigma theta square. Suppose if the variance is 0.1, then number of tanks are 10. Variance or this is standard deviation, something like that. X minus x bar. This is how do you find variance equation I just wrote. Clear. This is what is tanks in series model. I'll just give 2 minutes time. Read the entire tanks in series model once. Just take 2 minutes time and revise the entire, let's say, tanks in series model once. Dispersion 0 means PFR, right? What is sigma theta square for PFR? 0, no? How many number of tanks required? Infinity. Because it is straight line, no? What is the dispersion is 0. So n equal to infinity. Suppose if you get, let's say, in the previous case, if you get, let's say, n equal to 5.5 from the dispersion, should you use 6 or let's say 5? Use as it is. Because it is only model, no? Don't think that it is 5.5 CST or something like that. Use as it is. Clear? So what is next one is? Dispersion model. So what is dispersion model? Suppose this is a fundamental model. This is a fundamental model. So what is meant by fundamental model is, I will take, let's say, 2 planes. This is my plane 1 plane 1, this is let's say plane 2. So the molecules from here can go to this plane, the molecules can come to this plane. So this movement of this molecules, see this movement of the molecules is characterized by D, which is called as dispersion coefficient. That is how you define. When D is equal to 0, it becomes a PFR, that means no movement between the molecules. When D is infinity, it becomes a CST. When D is equal to 0, it becomes a PFR. D equal to infinity, it becomes a CSTR. Now, what we do is, we will define a dimensionless number. We will define this pencil is giving some error. We will define dimensionless number. So dimensionless number. So what is the dimensionless number that we are defining is UL divided by D. What is U is velocity. What is L is dimension in the flow direction. What is D is dispersion coefficient. Dispersion coefficient. This UL by D is what you call it as, I'll show the previous slide, don't worry, Peclet number. So when my Peclet number is equal to 0, it is a CSTR. When my Peclet number is equal to infinity, it becomes a PFR. So every real reactor has its own Peclet number. Depends on its dispersion. Suppose, but that Peclet number should be in between 0 and infinity only, no? So this Peclet number is what is called as single parameter here. There is a small derivation or big derivation. You take two planes and shifting of the molecules, finally derive the equation. So that derivation is not important by gate point of view. So fine, but how this single parameter model of dispersion is, every real reactor can be represented by a single model with Peclet number as a variable. So just write previous board. Got it? Distribution coefficient is different, dispersion coefficient is different. These two are two different things. This is what is called as, let's say, dispersion and let's say tanks in series models. Dispersion number is different from Peclet number. Dam column number are different. Dam column number is different. Now, so this is what is, let's say, single parameter models. Next topic is how to use RTD for troubleshooting of plant reactors. Troubleshooting, just troubleshooting. Suppose you have a reactor in my plant. Let's say this is my reactor in a plant. Clear? So some reason so the reactor is not performing. This reactor is not performing up to, let's say, standard, or let's say up to expectation. Up to expectation. That means some problem inside the reactor. And then what do you do is do RTD test. Do RTD test. Suppose if your RTD, whatever the RTDs that we have given are ideal reactor RTDs. No. If you have bypass, then you will get this kind of peak in the initial. Then this is how. This is actually the reactor. This is actually indicates that you have a bypass in the reactor. That means some problem bypass inside. This is what is actual peak. Then you will get a small peak before the, actual reactor peak. This small peak is an indication that you have a bypass in a reactor. So that means bypass in the reactor means some channeling has happened inside the reactor. That is why fluid particles are bypassing the catalyst bed. That is why your reactor is not performing up to your expectation. So this RTD can be used for troubleshooting inside the plants also. Clear? We can use this RTD for troubleshooting also. So clear? Suppose channeling means is different, or let's say channeling and bypass both are less same. Suppose if I have a RTD something like this. Catalyst completely is not working. Is not the answer. Some of the feed might have bypassed the catalyst. Is what is bypassing. Suppose if you get an RTD, which is, let's say, long tail, that means slowly particles are coming. This long tail is an indication that you have a dead zone. This long tail is an indication that you have a dead zone. Suppose if you get an RTD something like this, multiple peaks. This is an indication that you have recirculation. This is also a trouble in the reactor. This is also recirculation, or let's say recycle inside the reactor. This is how you identify problems on a plant scale reactor using RTD. Suppose if you have multiple peaks, this is one peak, this is one peak, this is one peak, this is one peak. Multiple peaks is an indication of recycle, no? So this is called as recirculation. Recirculation or recycle inside the reactor. Yeah, kind of back mixing inside the reactor. So suppose this is what is how do you troubleshoot. Then suppose if I have a non-ideal reactor, let's say a real reactor. This is my real reactor. This is my real reactor. Suppose if you get an RTD something like this. This is CSTR followed by PFR, PFR followed by CSTR. Now you can model. But which one rightly represents the real reactor? Is it CSTR followed by P? Because CSTR followed by PFR, PFR followed by CSTR will have a same RTD. But how to identify, is it CSTR PFR or PFR plus CSTR? That is where, suppose if you have this real reactor, you have mixing in the initial. Suppose if you have a nozzle in the real reactor, nozzle means it is a CSTR, no? This is called as early mixing. Later on there is no mixing, that is early mixing. So this can be modeled it as a CSTR plus followed by PFR. Suppose in your real reactor, plant reactor, initially there is no mixing, but at the end when it is going, because of some disturbance, there is a complete mixing. This is called as late mixing. This can be modeled as PFR followed by CSTR. So what I am trying to say is, if you have a real reactor, you got an RTD something like this. From the RTD, I can't say whether it is CSTR followed by PFR, PFR followed by CSTR, because both will have a same RTD. But which one does represent my real reactor is, now you open your real reactor and see. If you have a nozzle in the real reactor, that means initially you have mixing followed by no mixing. That means CSTR followed by PFR. Suppose if you find some nozzle or some disturbance, something obstruction in the outlet, then that means PFR followed by a CSTR. This is called as late mixing. So got it, everybody? So one topic which is left in the CRE non-ideal reactors is conversion maybe I think I'll discuss one small point. There are some there are non-ideality with respect to fluids also. One is microfluids. That means these microfluids will stay as it is, particles. So what is macrofluids is, these are some one mark questions if we can ask. These particles will become a groups when enter inside the reactor. Let's say some of the particles will become a groups. That means they will behave as a group. They will behave as a group. So particles forms groups. Particles forms groups. This is some non-ideality. There is a non-ideality with respect to reactor. There is non-ideality with respect to fluids also. This is non-ideality with respect to fluids. It depends upon the fluid type. So you can't avoid forming groups. This is nature of the fluid, but you have to account for this non-ideality in the microfluid. Means there is no groups. Particles will behave freely. Macrofluid means particle form group. So the last topic in, let's say, non-ideal reactors is conversion estimation from E curve. Conversion estimation from E curve. Clear? Conversion estimation from E curve. Suppose if I have a real reactor, something like this. This has an RTD, something like this. How do you estimate conversion out of this reactor? How do you estimate conversion from E curve? One way is how to estimate conversion from E curve. Let's say how to estimate the conversion is, how to estimate the conversion. First thing is you find a combination of ideal reactors which has same RTD. You find a combination of ideal reactors which has the same RTD. Then find the conversion of that ideal reactor system. That is nothing but the conversion of this real reactor. Clear? So first thing is you should find a combination of ideal reactor which has the same RTD. Then find the conversion of, because this reactor doesn't have any model, no. That is why first you are finding a model. That model conversion is nothing but conversion of this reactor. Suppose if I do a first order reaction, A gives B 0.1 Ca. Then I'm interested to know, let's say, what is the conversion. Then this entire story should happen. That means you have to find a combination of ideal reactors which use the same RTD. Then you have to find the conversion of that ideal reactor system. So maybe right up to this point, I'll explain next. So I think there is some problem in between. So I don't know. This Zoom has quitted in between. So I think I'll. Can you see the screen again? Can everybody see the screen again? Okay. So I don't know. Somehow we lost the connection. Okay. So that is what actually where we are is we have a real reactor. We have a real reactor, and how we know the E curve. We know the E curve. So I am not repeating what I have written last. So how to find the conversion? How do you find the conversion is basically you should find a combination of ideal reactors and then find a combination of, let's say, model. That model conversion is nothing but the conversion of this real reactor. Instead, can I find directly from E curve? Can I find directly from E curve? Let's say I'm talking about A gives P, which is 0.1 Ca is my kinetics. So what is this E curve indicates? E curve with respect to time. What does this indicates? With respect to time, at every point, how many number of particles are coming? At every point, how many number of particles are coming? If every point, how many number of particles are coming? Or fraction, if it is concentration. Then, if it is, let's say, C versus T. If it is C versus T, then this is my E curve. At, let's say, 3 minutes, 15 particles came. At, let's say, 5 minutes, 20 particles came. So how do you calculate is average conversion of all the particles. Average conversion of all particles is nothing but the conversion. No, conversion of the real reactor is nothing but the average conversion of all the particles. Is it correct or not? Now, at 3 minutes, 15 particles are spending a time of 3 minutes. 20 particles are spending a time of 5 minutes. Now, the kinetics is 0.1 Ca. What is integral analysis? Ca equal to Ca naught into e power minus kt. This is what is integral analysis, no? So, if I translate this curve to conversion, 1 minus x power minus k equal to 1 minus a power minus kt. So, the reaction conversion is, if a particle spends t minutes, this is the conversion. Now 15 particles are spending 3 minutes time, no? Then how do you calculate is, let's assume that I have only 15 plus 20, only this many number of particles. So I'm not going beyond more, let's say, clear. So 15 particles are spending 3 minutes time, then what is its conversion is 1 minus e power minus k into 3 plus 20 particles are spending, let's say 5 minutes time, 1 plus e power minus k into 5. And so on. Like this, for every time you calculate how many number of particles versus its conversion divided by what is the total number of particles, which is 15 plus 20 plus and so on. This is nothing but your X bar. Clear or not? So did everybody got what I'm trying to explain? What is the first order equation is 0.1 Ca. So from the integral analysis, you get 1 minus xA into e power minus k into t. What does this equation tells you is, if a particular particle spends t minutes time, then what is the conversion? Then what is x bar is average conversion of all the particles. Now how do you calculate average is 15 particles are spending 3 minutes time, 20 particles are spending 5 minutes time. Like this, I calculate what is the total conversion divided by total number of particles. Yes, as kinetics they will provide. No, without kinetics you can't do it. No. Today is a slightly dry class. Reason because this particular part doesn't have any problems. Basically, dispersion model, tanks in series model. There is no gate problems because this is theory topics. That is why it might be slightly dry for you today. So you might feel little, let's say, when you're solving problems in the class, actually you don't feel the time of the class, but when it is completely theory, it is slightly challenging. Now, how do you write this equation is x bar is equal to, now I'll extend this for, let's say, infinity, 0 to infinity, concentration of the pulse into what is the x of batch reactor. I can say x of, let's say, integration analysis. Both are same, no? Batch or integration analysis, both are same. Concentration of pulse into x of batch reactor into dt divided by 0 to infinity concentration of pulse into dt. This is what we have done in the previous. What did you do? 15 multiplied by its conversion, 20 multiplied its conversion. Total sum, no, sum is nothing but integral divided by total number of particles. But this entire thing is nothing but area under the curve, no, which can be taken inside this integral. Then what happens? Big interval of 0 to infinity, C pulse divided by A into, or let's say, this small integral I am taking the inside the big integral, 0 to infinity, C pulse into dt. Clear? Which is into x batch into dt. What is this? This is nothing but E, no? So then what is your x bar is nothing but integral 0 to infinity. What is your x bar is nothing but, maybe finally I'll write here. What is your x bar from E curve is nothing but 0 to infinity E into x into dt. This is what is, how do you calculate x bar directly from E curve? So for non-ideal reactors, this is, but what is, if I calculate conversion directly from E curve, are you generating model here? No, you are not generating the model. Let's say, the negative point of this kind of analysis is you are not generating any model. Yeah, it is not same conversion. No, it is varies for this equation is not same for first order, second order. No, maybe I'll solve one problem, then you will get more clarity. So write this problem. See, the reactors which are in the plants will have a lot of models developed. See, simply by reading, let's say up to now, we cannot, let's say, start modeling a big reactors. So these are, let's say, but the basic principles remain same. Clear? So write this problem. So big reactors means you have a catalyst in the system, then catalyst models will come, mass transfer will come into picture. So that is what is. So write this problem. A pulse of tracer is injected into a reaction vessel. A pulse of tracer is injected into a reaction vessel. A pulse of tracer is injected into a reaction vessel whose and the outlet concentration of the tracer is given below. For the same reaction vessel, a feed containing 2 mole per liter is fed. What is the expected conversion? Kinetics is given as A gives B reaction minus RA equal to 0.1 Ca square. Minus RA equal to 0.1 Ca square. But in today's, somebody is asking, do you have today's theory have problems in the gate? So this type of problems can come in the gate, but this is not a theory part, no? But in Tangent series model and this kind of things, you will get theory. So how do you solve this problem? So basically first thing is, what is given C curve? 1, 3, 2. What is area under the curve? 2 into 2, 4, no? Then what is E curve? One by 2. This is E, this is T. Just will plot. One by 2. This is E and this is T. Maybe I think I'll just rub it off and then. Just plot. I think this board is not sufficient. That is why I'm plotting the E curve on the corner. What is E curve is? I think everybody is able to plot what is E curve. This is T. Now, what is given kinetics? Minus RA equal to 0.1 CA square. So what is integral analysis of this one? Minus dCA by dt if you take. Then what you get? 1 by CA minus 1 by CA naught is equal to 0.1 into T. So what is you get is XA by 1 minus XA equal to 0.1 into T into CA naught. So 0.1 into what is T into CA naught is 2. So XA by 1 minus XA is equal to 0.2 T. So what is XA from here? What is XA is 0.2 T by 1 plus 0.2 T. This is what is XA. Then what is your average conversion is integral 0 to infinity E into XA, which is into dt. So what is 0 to infinity is E into 0.2 into T divided by 1 plus 0.2 into T into dt. This is what is X bar. Clear? Now, how do you solve this integral? What is E is 0. What is E here is 1 by 2. What is E here is 0. There is no straight line equation, no? Then what is X bar is? Integral 1 to 3, 1 by 2 into 0.2 into T by 1 plus 0.2 into T into dt. This is what is you should solve this X bar. I think you can solve this problem as a part of homework. If you have any doubts, just send me your doubts. I'll clarify the doubts. Solution you can partly take it as homework. Any doubts? Segregation models are different. They are not here. See, in reality, why do we need average conversion? Somebody's question. But what you observe in the outlet is average conversion only, no? Do you observe particle conversions? All combined together are coming. So what you measure is average. Limits 0 to infinity only, because there are some particles coming from 0 to infinity, no? So with this one, I think non-ideal reactors, most of the things is finished. I'll have 1 or 2 problems. So tomorrow I'll solve and then I'll start catalytic reactions tomorrow. Somebody's question is, are microfluids non-ideal? But Yes, microfluids are non-ideal, macro is real. Macro is non-ideal, micro is ideal. So when you are solving macro fluids, then you have to see non-ideal reactors, you understood. When you are solving macro fluids, you will have non-ideal reactors with non-ideal fluids. That will be like advanced CRE. We do not have right now, but just understand that you will have a macro fluids also. So catalytic reactions is chapter 5, correct? After that, I'll have in the catalytic reactions only I'll solve mechanisms of enzymatic reaction. Then I'll have only one topic left, which is non-isothermal reactors. So I think with maybe 3, 4 or max 5 sessions, I think we'll complete CRE. 75% is done. Only 2 topics. Finally, I'll take 1 or 2 sections only for the any extra problems. Microfluids are ideal, correct? So whatever the PFR, CSTR equation that we have written are for ideal reactor, ideal fluid. When we are talking about non-ideal reactor, we have understood. If you have non-ideal reactors and non-ideal fluids, then it will be totally different. Somebody is asking recycle reactor. I think he has not attended the last sessions. I have completed recycle reactor. Yes, 28% conversion for this one answer. Just send me your feedback to the mail ID. Like if I am, let's say, going little fast, or let's say if I'm going little slow, or let's say I'm, what do you need, let's say, else from me? So your feedback will help me to, let's say, modify the later on sessions. I'm going, let's say, my standard is little far. I generally go little faster than this one, not, or let's say more or less same. But I decided, let's say, to go more slowly because this is online class. So if I go fast, if you are stuck in between, then actually you are lost. I don't know that you are lost also because I can't see you. So that is why I'm going little slowly. And there are many second year students as well. So that is why. So last answer is 21%, 28. So it is actually somebody is asking for the curve for n equal to 2 or higher in series, because the E curve keep on increasing, no? Because the dispersion decreases, then the height should increase, no? Otherwise the area should remain same. See, CSTR area under the curve is 1 only, dispersion E curve. Suppose if let's say, let me explain here. This is my area. Suppose if I 2 CSTRs in series, then this is how the area comes. N CSTRs in series, my height should increase, no? So the area should remain as same, only one, because the number of particles going are same, no? Microfluids, that means there is no interaction between the particles. That is ideal fluids. So don't hang up on micro and macro, because that macro fluids, non-ideal fluids, how do you handle is advanced CRE. But you understand that there is a non-ideality in the fluids also. I think no doubt, so I'm closing the session. So I got one doubt. Why is it increasing and decreasing? In 2 CSTRs, it's unlike, because this dispersion should be there, no? If I have, let's say, why it is increasing, because it has to come from first CSTR to second CSTR, no? There will be some time lag. That is why it is increasing slowly, then decreasing. It will reach some peak. So thank you all. So we'll close the session.